Automakers living life in the fast lane, and so is Ernie Scheider, our Reuters correspondent. Hey, Ernie. All right, let's talk about auto sales, U.S. auto sales.
Sure.
Great August.
Sure. Slow but steady recovery, definitely a positive sign. So Ford and Chrysler beating analyst expectations out there right now.
Right.
For August results, Volkswagen said it had its best month since 1973. What was it? Chrysler best since 2007. Ford sales up 13%. So really positive sign out here right now. What's driving this, pun intended,
yes.
is that people are replacing older cars and they're looking for more eco-efficient cars, especially as gas prices continue to rise from the lows earlier this year. So, Ford's saying sales of its Escape and its Fusion models, not exactly tanks, did really, really well during the period.
The average age of a car on the road, 11 years out there?
11 years right now, yeah. So that's pretty old. So usually you hang on to a car for about 3 to 5 years, but what happened 3 to 5 years ago? We had the recession, and so that's sort of people held on to what they had. So maybe this is a positive sign that things are getting a little better if they're feeling more, people are feeling more confident buying cars out there.
Sure. Let's take a look quickly. We've got kind of mixed to flat in some of the U.S. automaker stocks.
Yeah, and Fiat, they own Chrysler, but there's a lot going on there besides just cars.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move on and look at the broader markets here and see how they're reacting. We've got pretty much flat to down here. Some data, some poor data that was out this morning about construction. Yeah, construction spending in July, kind of weak data out there right now. So if you're a Caterpillar investor, you're a John Deere investor, or CNH Global, you're probably a little more wary. And, CNH is being bought by Fiat, so that could be playing to them as well. Right. But, is this, it's July. Are people on vacation? Was construction activity just down? Or is it a portent of things that could be worse down the road? We don't know. Something to look out for. Okay. Ernie, follow me to the hot spot. Check it out. And let's look at some stocks that are moving. All in the pharma industry today. Yes. Interesting ways that different pharma stocks are moving. The first is acquisition with Valiant and Medicis. They make a competitor to Botox, the botulism toxin, their own Dysport. So tell us about this deal. Yeah, so Botox rival out there right now. And so Valiant pays $2.6 billion for this, sends Medicis shares jumping. The deal was announced yesterday because, it's a Canadian deal, but of course U.S. markets were closed. So they're the largest publicly traded company in Canada, Valiant, I believe. So. Yes. Yeah, I believe so. What's interesting to me is that, Botox has become a cultural cliche for so many years now. But it's a great segment for all the women in New York. Or LA. Or LA. We're going to say LA. Right, we're playing to the coast right now. Yeah. But what was really interesting to me is that, they still think that there's market potential here, to really get out there and rival Botox, and there'll still be demand for this anti-wrinkle product. Sure. Always. Which is also used, we should say, to stop sweating and other things, but people obviously know it as the anti-wrinkle. You'll never need it. You're wrinkle-free. Go on. All right, let's talk about stem cells. Sure. Another way stock is moving with them is R&D with the multiple sclerosis drug that they've been, spinal cord drug. Yeah, so Stem Cells Inc., basically they came out and they said they had really positive incremental news on their stem cell research product. And the thing you gotta understand about pharma stocks is they move on even the smallest incremental news, because when you hit it big, you hit it big. Right. And so for them to come out, they put out this press release and basically said, look, we had some positive interim results here on basically improving damaged stem cells in spinal cords. Really, really great sign for them and their investors. Right, they're up 2.5%. And we should mention actually the prior story, Medicis is up 38%, so quite a jump there. Sure. Questcor up 10%. This is a kind of good news, bad news sort of story in terms of Medicaid rebates. If you're an investor, it's really, really good. So basically, they can do a lower rebate on a key multiple sclerosis drug. So there we are, multiple sclerosis. Yes. Yes. If you're an investor, you're really happy. But what does this say broadly? If you're on the drug, it's basically it would put more money in the company's pockets, perhaps less money in your pockets. So I think politically, especially in the current campaign season, this is probably not the last we'll hear of this decision. All right. We're going to change now and talk about Amazon. Sure. I'm an Amazon Prime user, and if you are, there's good news because they have a whole slew of new titles from this deal with Epix, including The Avengers, which was the biggest hit of the summer. Yes, huge movies. So basically, the deal with Epix gives them access to, as you say, The Avengers, but also MGM's libraries. So MGM's got some of the best movies ever made. Them classics out there. You think Sound of Music, excuse me, Gone with the Wind. Right. You think. Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz, yeah. So these are some of the classic ones. So Amazon now has access to that library. Kind of a bad sign, though, for Netflix, because just as Amazon is getting on board with Epix, the Netflix contract with them expires at the end of September. So Netflix down 8% today.
Not surprisingly, they're paying $200 million a year for that. That's going to end. They're not going to have all that content. If you're a Netflix subscriber, you're going to have less to watch now.
Okay. Smartphone wars this week and next really heating up. This week we have Nokia and Microsoft, the Microsoft Windows Phone announced this week. Then we've got Motorola and Verizon with the Google Android system. And then, of course, this is all the big drumbeat to next week's iPhone 5.
Yeah, so a lot going on here right now. I'm really excited to see what Nokia and Microsoft come out with. They came out a few years ago with the Tile phone, and everyone sort of ridiculed it at the time. But I'll tell you, I have a few friends that have it, and I said the same thing. But they were like, look, Ernie, this really works well. It's very intuitive. We don't have to think about it. We can easily send emails or receive texts. So I think I'm really looking forward to seeing what Nokia and Microsoft have.
And last but not least, we touched on Amazon before. They're coming out, not a smartphone, but their Kindle Fire is coming out this week. Yep. But there's also rumored that they might come out with their own smartphone.
That seems to be the latest thing now, coming out with your own smartphone. Right. Even Facebook, we have rumors that they might come out with one any day now.
That's right.
Who knows? And of course, Apple now winning against Samsung, the big patent case. What will the iPhone 5 be like now that it's got all this extra money in its pocket? Who knows?
Who knows? All right, Ernie Scheider, thank you so much.
Sure.
We're going to say goodbye to you, and I'm going to walk back here and talk to Danya Scotty-chan. You have such a beautiful name. Yes, you're going to have to pronounce it for all of us because it's that lovely the way you say it.
Sure.
Scotty-chan.
Yes, Scotty-chan.
Yes, correspondent. You have a great story about the new CEO at Best Buy, Hubert Joly, who is now making himself at home in Minnesota. This is like an episode of the reality show Undercover Boss, where he's out there on the floor kind of learning how to get down and dirty and do sales.
Yeah, so basically when Best Buy announced their new CEO's name, a lot of people were kind of taken by surprise. He has a lot of experience turning around ailing businesses, but he has very little experience as a retail CEO.
Right.
So what he's basically trying to do here is tackle that criticism that he lacks retail experience. So he's trying to get a feel of how it's like to be on the floor. He's going to do everything that a blue shirt in Best Buy does. Serve customers, take returns, take calls with Geek Squad, etc.
Part of the Geek Squad, because he comes really from the travel and hospitality industry, correct?
Yeah, and Best Buy could use his experience, like they need to do a better job of their customer service.
Right.
And that is one of the three key parts of his strategy going into the key holiday season. He wants Best Buy to kind of do better on customer service, stock products, bean stock, also, basically, sorry.
And also, online sales as well, right?
Yeah.
Did you have to?
So last year, Best Buy messed up its online game. It didn't stock. It couldn't serve all the online orders in time.
Right.
So there was a huge backlash about how Best Buy treats its online stores as stepchild and things like that. So he wants to kind of tackle that criticism this year. He wants to, fight the Amazons and the Walmarts of the world. And
before we let you go very quickly though, so where does this leave things in terms of Richard Scholl's? Because he's still doing the books are still open to him in his bid to take it private.
So that is one question Hubert refuses to answer, but he says he has tremendous respect for the larger shareholder.
Yeah.
Wall Street's waiting to see the kind of turnaround plan that Hubert will put out, and then the plan that Schulze might pull out. So we have to wait and watch, I guess.
Okay, wait and watch. Danya, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Remember, follow us on Twitter at Reuters Insider, and check out our Reuters YouTube channel. That is Reuters.com/ReutersTV. I'm Lisa Bernhardt, and this is Reuters.